Hi everyone, in this video I will explain Jack D. Forbes' argument in the Mestizo concept, a part of a European imperialism. Forbes argues that the term Mestizo is not just a neutral description of mixed identity, but a colonial tool created by Europeans to control and divide indigenous people. According to the Forbes, Europeans themselves are highly mixed in terms of race, culture, and history. For example, countries like Spain and England were shaped by many different groups over time, including Romance, Celts, and others. However, Europeans are never labeled as a mestizos. Instead, they are treated as a unified and whole identities. In a contrast, indigenous people in the Americas are constantly categorized and labeled as a mestizo. When they have mixed backgrounds, Forbes argues that this is not an accidental, it is a system created by colonial powers to fragment indigenous identity and prevent unity. By labeling people as mestizo, colonial system weaken their connection to their indigenous roots and make them easier to control. For example, Spain is a nation with a long history of mixture. Its population includes influences from Romans, Visigoths, and Moors. Despite this, Spanish people are simply considered Spanish and are not labeled as a mixed or divided. On the other hand, Mexicans are often labeled as a mestizo, even though they also have a complex mixture of indigenous and European heritage. This label separates them from their indigenous identity and creates a sense that they are something in between rather than the whole. This comparison reveals a real double standard. Europeans who also have mixed origins are seen as complete and unified. Meanwhile, indigenous people are labeled in a ways that define and redefine their identity. This shows that those in power decide how identity is categorized. The consequence of this system is that it supports colonialism by dividing people and weakening indigenous identity. When people are labeled as mestizo, they may feel disconnected from their indigenous roots and history. This makes it harder for communities to unite and resist system of the power. Forbes shows that identity is not just about the culture or race, but also about power. The way people are labeled reflects who has control and whose identity is considered normal. Forbes argues that the concept of mestizo is a product of European imperialism that creates a double standard between Europeans and indigenous people. By analyzing this system, we can better understand how identity has been shared by power and colonial history. Thank you.